Hello, how was your week and what are your usual plans for weekend? Well, the heat is on and it's better to either watch a movie in a theatre or watch a web series at home. Whatever you watch, just make sure it's worth your time. I'm Atika Farooqui. Well, I have a few things really nice for you in the next half an hour. If you are a cinema lover like me and love all aspects of it, then this should be fun for you. So let's begin with the highlights. PS2 is a visual marvel which may need a keen eye and an alert mind to not miss anything as the plot is crowded. Deepika Padukone talks about life learnings and how she interprets Rumi's famous quotes in a throwback interview. Tigmanshu Dhulia, the much-loved director, starts off his web series Garmi with a conversation with me. And the director of Bunty Aur Babli 2, Varun Sharma, on that one film that changed his life. Ponniyin Selvan 2, based on an adaptation of Kalki's magnum opus by director Mani Ratnam, B. Jayamohan and Elango Kumaravel, takes some liberties with the much-loved literary work. In the first film, Mani vehemently stayed faithful to Kalki Krishnamurthy's book, which came at the cost of the film being called choppy. But this time, the overall impact of the construct is accentuated by Ratnam's firm grasp on the technical aspects and the romanticism in drama. In the second part, he is bolder and deviates majorly from the books. Here, Mani Ratnam, the filmmaker, is more faithful to his craft than to the written material. This makes Ponniyin Selvan 2 better cinema and superior to its first part. The film opens with a mesmerizing prologue, a flashback to Aditya Karikalan, played by Vikram, and Nandini, played by Aishwarya, their teen years. This scene needs a lot of creativity and Mani makes it fairy tale-like, setting the film in such exotic locations and makes you buy his imagination of Chola dynasty. We see rivers and forests and caves and rustic beauty of nature. What you see will mesmerize you. After showing what happened to Nandini, the film resumes the story of Arulmozi Varman. He is now severely ill. He is taken to a Buddhist monastery where he can be cured. Meanwhile, Nandini, along with Pandyans, decide to kill Sundara Cholar, played by Prakash Raj, and Aditya Karikalan on the same day. Aditya Karikalan, even after knowing about the ploy of Nandini, goes to Kadambur fort for a final showdown with his only love of his life. Vikram and Aishwarya bring about all the complexities of this love-hate relationship, which is a passionate and a revengeful affair. The scene is the catharsis of all the drama in the film, and I must tell you, it's a beautiful scene. It is hard to fathom how someone who hasn't read the book will follow the story. Ponniyin Selvan doesn't have a conventional film structure because with so many storylines and so many subplots, it's difficult to keep abreast with the connections and the developments. It's difficult, but you can do it. It ends up being a little messy and hard to catch up. However, look at how brilliantly Mani Ratnam achieves the essence of each character with a few short scenes. With at least 100 characters, you love and appreciate each one of them's presence. At nearly 3-hour runtime, the film is a treat for the eye. Cinematographer Ravi Varman composes frames that capture the expanse of the locations. Some scenes will play in my mind for a really long time. The quality of the performances that the director extracts from the actors is very consistent. Vikram's powerful presence and Nandini lose no opportunity to make their presence felt. Overall, watch it in your own language. It's a stunning film that needs a lot of attention and detail. Nazar hati, durgatna gati. It's a visual marvel, a passion project of Mani Ratnam that deserves to be watched for the sheer detail to which it goes. Up next, we have Deepika Padukone talking to me about mental health, philosophy of her life, and how she identifies with some of the most famous quotes by the philosopher and poet Rumi in this throwback interview with me. Rumi says, "As you start to walk, the way appears." I follow that too. You must follow that too. Here is a very enriching and a very deep conversation with the leading actress of our times. Your personality is not just work, Deepika. You've gone beyond it. with your organization, your initiative, Live, Love, Laugh Foundation, the World Economic Forum has given her a Crystal Award for just raising so much awareness about mental health. I went to your website also and learned a lot of things.
Thank you.
Firstly, thank you for doing this. In a world where everybody has to act strong, look good, everything has to be prim and proper, you chose to unravel yourself, unwrap yourself, and that is so brave. That is so brave. Thank you so much for doing that.
Thank you.
Firstly, Rumi says, very famously, as you start to walk on the way appears. Why is self-help the best help, Deepika?
When you learn from your own journey, from your own experiences, from your own mistakes, there's no greater learning than that. And I'm just talking from my own experience, you know, whether it's in my personal life, whether it's in my professional life. Take my professional life, for example. You know, I came into the industry with no sort of padding, godfather. You know, I was literally thrown into the deep end. I remember Farah and Shah Rukh both telling me that we're always here for you. And I was like, like, they're just saying it out of formality. What do you mean you're always here for me? And I kind of felt like I was now on my own. And I now had to take my steps forward, just exactly like Rumi says, just
as you start to work.
Yeah, just discovering it as I went along. And today, when I've walked quite a lot of that journey, it's now easier for me to look back in hindsight and say, wow, you know, I could have gotten lost. I'm sure I got lost along the way. Of course I have, not sure, I have gotten lost along the way. But I think that's what enriched my life. It enriched my mind, it enriched my soul. I was able to understand who I am as a person. I was able to understand the people around me, and all of those experiences and that journey of walking alone and discovering as you go along has brought me to where I am today.
Yeah, totally.
So, yeah.
Why do you stay in prison when the door is so wide open? Gehraiyan, while I was watching, and I could see that you didn't have to use glycerine in that, because I see your emotions swell up from inside.
Yeah, of course, and that's what I say. I mean, even as an actor, my endeavor always is to just to try and be as honest as possible, and the camera picks up everything. And yes, there will be days when, you know, where it will happen, but there could be days where you don't.
Where you don't. True,
you know, and but that's the exciting part of being an actor. The second part of your question, why be imprisoned when you can...
have you felt like you were in a prison?
Of course. Yeah. Of course. Again, at so many levels, you know, whether it was me battling mental illness, whether it was me struggling with my identity, when I spoke about that, you know, when that period when I felt lost and I was struggling with who am I and who is it that I want to be. All of these things make you, you know, it's so true to the quote that you just read out. But what I also realized, and more so through the journey of this film, is that people also don't voluntarily choose, or at least most people don't voluntarily choose to be imprisoned. A lot of times you're imprisoned because
you're conditioned to be imprisoned.
Because either you're conditioned to be imprisoned, or your circumstances force you to be imprisoned, or you don't have the strength or the courage to step outside of that prison. And I've had this beautiful experience of coming out, and it's so liberating.
It is.
And my life has only gotten better from there.
Now Rumi says next, he says, life is a balance between holding on and letting go. What have you let go of? कि ये मुझे नहीं चाहिए अब life में.
You know, it's interesting you ask that question, because I think you reach a stage in your life where actually you're letting go of most things, and you only retain what you know is going to add value to your life. So I think in the initial years of my career, it was really about wanting everything, wanting to do everything, saying yes to everything, saying yes to every opportunity, every brand, every film. And then you come to a stage in your life where actually you're actually filtering. I look at everything in my life today with purpose. And if there is meaning and purpose in what I do, that is my biggest filter, then I do it. Otherwise, it's eliminated. Om Shanti Om was not the first film I was offered. I was offered a lot of films, feature films, before Om Shanti Om actually happened. I surprise myself sometimes about how at 18 I had the clarity to, first of all, decide, and then how did I say no? They were from big, and they continue to be
really
big superstars, and huge production houses, well-known directors. Anybody in my position at that time would have said yes to it. I don't know what I was thinking. I remember saying, it's a great opportunity, there's no doubt, but I'm not ready for it. I had just become a model. I had just come out of college and school, and I had just become a model, and acting was not my immediate next step. At some level, I'm proud of myself that I was able to have that sort of clarity. And I mean, I've gone on to work with those producers later on, which also means then I also handled it well.
Rumi says, set your life on fire, seek those who fan your flames. It's important to surround yourself with people who fan your flames, who make you better each day. What makes you burn every day? It's a lot of hard work being a producer or actor so much.
Yeah, it's purpose. If I had to sum it up, today it's just you're given and you work to get to a place, and you're given this opportunity to be able to impact and to touch people's lives through my work or otherwise. And so for me, if I didn't do that, I feel like that's an opportunity wasted.
Yeah.
You know, so I really do wake up every morning thinking, how can I do things differently from the way they have been done historically? Everything that I do today is driven by meaning and by purpose, and is to make things better from where they already are.
Rumi says, respond to every call that excites your spirits. So where all have you invested yourself financially, emotionally and physically? One of them is the foundation, your own production house, your acting. Anything else?
Myself.
Self-care.
Self-care. So myself, my friends and family, and then my experiences with them. It could be individual experiences, it could be experiences with my spouse, it could be experiences with my family, experiences with my friends, and also just time for myself, like to nurture myself. I think that's so important, especially in our profession. We're constantly putting ourselves out there and constantly available to people around us, and I think it's extremely important, and there's nothing selfish about it, to nurture yourself and to make time for yourself.
The lion looks most handsome when looking for food.
Wow. I mean, specifically as far as this quote and one's professional life is concerned, nothing is more important than the films that you do and the work that you've done in it. Everything else is secondary. Whether you hobnob or not, whether you go to parties or not, whether you take meetings or not, all of that is secondary. Everything else you can build around that, if that's the life you choose. But you have to get your basics right.
We talk about self-esteem. Rumi says, to praise the sun is to praise your own eyes.
In fact, Dhairya, who's in the movie, recently said that one of the best pieces of advice that someone gave him was, you have to take care of yourself. If you don't take care of yourself, you can't take care of the people around you. I'm not excessively on my mobile device. I'm not someone who reads comments. I'm also very sure and confident about who I am and what is it that I want to say. It's not easy to say, yeah, okay, I just focus on myself and I cut out the noise. How to do that is work, and it's a lot of work, but I'm willing to put in that work because I feel balanced and I feel centered
Rumi says, whatever you do, wherever you are, be in love.
Yes, absolutely. That quote, in fact, I came across recently. He's just been a silent spectator to everything to all of my dreams and to everything that I've wanted to do. He's never come in the way of, any of that. I was just thinking about that this morning.
Yeah.
I feel liberated. I never have to worry about, oh, I can't do this, or I can't say this, or I can't wear this.
Or I can't do this movie or this scene.
Yeah, when it comes to my professional life, he's given me a lot of freedom. That's one aspect of it. No questions asked, because there is trust. Always appreciating everything that I do. Whether it's a movie, it's a performance, it's a magazine cover, it's an interview, it's an Instagram post. The fact that he's vocal about it, and the fact that he's able to articulate. A lot of men feel all of these things. It's not to say that men don't. They do. But a lot of men often struggle with how to articulate what they feel.
Yeah.
And I think what Ranveer has is, the beauty of that is that he's also able to articulate what he feels.
Yes.
I think what I've been able to bring to his life is to
calm him down,
keep him grounded. He'd probably be jumping off the rooftops. So I think a little bit of my groundedness or centeredness
is eccentricity and
is something that I keep. He is Superman with a cape, but then that
cape is
when you pan the camera, the cape is I'm holding it just so that he doesn't fly off the building.
You'll be attracting all the joy and love because you're a good soul. Thank you, Deepika.
Thank you
for doing whatever you're doing and being what you are. Beta tumse na ho paega is this one popular dialogue delivered by Tigmanshu Dhulia in his film Gangs of Wasipur, where he had acted. But apart from that, he is a director par excellence, where he has directed films like Charas, Hasil, Paan, Tomar, Sahabibi or Gangster, and so many more. He's back with a web series called Garmi, and here is a very beautiful conversation with him and me. आपकी लेटेस्ट सीरीज है गर्मी
जी,
और जो इसकी कहानी है, ये कहानियों का एक दौर तो आया था तिग्मांशु, आजकल नहीं देखने को मिल रही है कहानियाँ। एक मध्य समाज की क्या मुश्किलें हैं, इस उम्र के नौजवानों की क्या मुश्किलें हैं, वो जो डिसरिगार्ड फॉर अथॉरिटी है, वो दोनों का सेम होता है, या वो बागी हो या फिर वो IAS ऑफिसर बन जाए। ये कहानी किसकी है और आपका इंटरप्रिटेशन क्या है?
एक लड़का जो है जिस अच्छा है पढ़ाई में, अपर कास्ट से आता है, अरविंद शुक्ला नाम है इसका, और एक लालगंज किस्म का एक कस्बा है जहाँ पे इंटर कॉलेज में उसके पिताजी प्रिंसिपल है इंटर कॉलेज के, और वो चाहते हैं कि बेटा UPSC की तैयारी करे और कलेक्टर बने, IAS बने, और वो इस छोटे से कस्बे को छोड़ करके थोड़े से एक बड़े शहर में, त्रिवेणीपुर हमने नाम रखा है उसका, वहाँ जाता है और किस तरह से, और वो उस तरह का लड़का है जो कि स्पेशल है इन द सेंस कि वो है हिंदी मीडियम का, लेकिन वहाँ जाता है तो वो कहता है नहीं मैं इंग्लिश मीडियम की क्लास करूँगा। इंग्लिश मीडियम का अंग्रेज़ी उसको आती नहीं है, तो अंग्रेज़ी सीखने की किताब पढ़ लेता है, रट लेता है वो, तो उसके अंदर सारी क्वालिटीज़ हैं, वो लीडरशिप की, ललक चीज़ों को सीखने की, सब कुछ है। और ऐसा लड़का जो कि कुछ भी बन सकता था, कैसे वो उसकी जो ट्रैजिक फ्लो है उसकी वजह से वो गेट्स एंट्रैप्ड इनटू पॉलिटिक्स, और फिर वो इस तरह से क्या क्या होता है उसके साथ, और वो सारे किरदार कैसे उसको घेरते हैं, सब उसके टैलेंट को एक्सप्लॉइट करना चाहते हैं।
What do you think makes for a नायक, a hero, a great hero? क्या क्वालिटीज उसमें होनी चाहिए कि वो शुरू से लेके एंड तक आपको लगता है इसकी पूरी कहानी में दिखा सकता हूँ?
वो मुझे नहीं लगता वो लिखा हुआ किरदार होता है, वो कैसे उसको प्ले किया जाए उस पर ज़्यादा डिपेंड करता है। आप कैसा भी किरदार हो, अब वो चोर है, वो स्मगलिंग करता है, वो सेल है, लेकिन अगर उसी किरदार को बहुत डिग्निफाइड अंदाज में, जैसे अमिताभ बच्चन ने लावारिस पिक्चर के पहले तक कभी भी अपनी डिग्निटी नहीं, बहुत ही डिग्निफाइड ढंग से उन्होंने परफॉर्मेंस किया है। सलीम जावेद की स्क्रिप्ट आप देख लीजिए, कभी छिछोरी नहीं होती थी, किरदार उनके इस तरह के होते थे, गुस्सैल और गुंडे और डॉन और ये सब, लेकिन छिछोरी पिक्चरें नहीं लिखते थे। तो उसको एग्जीक्यूट करने का, ऑडियंस के सामने लाने का जो एक्टर लाता है, उसमें अगर डिग्निफाइड ढंग से किया जाए तो वो नायक हमेशा अच्छा लगेगा। इरफान ने भी जब पान सिंह तोमर किया था तो मैंने उससे पूछा, मैंने कहा तू क्या सुर पकड़ा क्या? तो मेरा एक पान सिंह तोमर से ही उसी पिक्चर से मेरा एक असिस्टेंट आया था जो बहुत छोटा था, बैंडिट क्वीन में भी वो हेल्प करता था, हेमंत नाम है उसका, और वो पान सिंह में लाया था। मैंने कहा डायलेक्ट वायलेक्ट वो मुरैना का ही है। उससे आज भी देखोगे ना तो आपको लगेगा रिटायर्ड आर्मी वाला कुछ सूबेदार मेजर। उसके अंदर हम्बलनेस, एक डिग्निफाइड, ऐसे गुस्सा होगा तो गुस्सा होगा लेकिन उसके अंदर एक ह्यूमिलिटी और एक हम्बलनेस और सच्चा इंसान।
बिल्कुल।
तो इरफान ने कहा था कि मैंने हेमंत को पकड़ा यार, जैसा हेमंत है ना मैंने वैसे पकड़ के पान सिंह तोमर की है वो बागी लेकिन आपको सच्चा इंसान दिखता है।
हाँ, आपको खुद हमने बहुत सारी फिल्मों में देखा, आप अपने उसमें नहीं दिखते हैं कभी फिल्मों में?
नहीं, वो तो मैंने कसम खाई है, जो मैं खुद डायरेक्ट करूंगा उसमें एक्टिंग नहीं करूंगा।
ओके।
वो हो नहीं पाता है। मैंने एक बार कोशिश की थी विलन टॉकीज़ में, वो भी बहुत मजबूरन मुझे करना पड़ा क्योंकि कोई एक्टर नहीं मिल रहा था और पिक्चर ख़त्म करनी थी, वही फादर के सीन ही घर के कुछ बाकी रह गए थे, 1-2 दिन का काम। तब कोई नहीं था, मैं जाता था पंकज करे पर वो बिजी था, तो एक और तो मैंने कहा मैं ही कर लेता हूँ। तो बहुत वो टॉर्चरस एक्सपीरियंस था, मैं नहीं करूँगा ऐसा कभी।
बट यू आर अ गुड एक्टर।
हाँ, मुझको लगता है देखिए एक्टर जो है ना, अच्छे एक्टर के अंदर अच्छा राइटर होना चाहिए, उससे आपको इम्प्रोवाइज करने की आपके अंदर एक एबिलिटी हो जाती है। अगर आप राइटर अच्छे हो तो वो है मेरे अंदर, इतना डायरेक्ट कर लिया है कि उससे थोड़ा कॉन्फिडेंस आ ही गया है, यू नो, पब्लिक को फेस करना, आपसे बात करना या इंटरव्यूज देना या स्टेज पे भाषण देना। इसीलिए एक्टिंग करते वक्त भी जब मैं गैंग्स ऑफ वासेपुर कर रहा था तो मैं फिल्में बना चुका था। जब सेट पे पहुंचा तो अनुराग दोस्त है, कैमरामैन राजीव राय, उसको भी जानता हूँ, जो असिस्टेंट है वो भी आपको, तो मैं कंफर्टेबल पोजीशन, मुझे कोई प्रूव नहीं करना था, उस कॉन्फिडेंस से वो हो गया काम।
Time for a short break on the show. When we come back, we have Bunty Aur Babli 2 director Varun Sharma talking about that one film that changed his life. Moving on, Varun Sharma is a director who directed Bunty Aur Babli 2. Before turning a director, he was an ad filmmaker and lived in Australia for more than a decade. This Kanpur-bred boy has an acute understanding of the small-town world and the international entertainment scene. But here is this one film that changed his life forever and made him the director that he is. He speaks to Vishal Chatkara.
I think one film that had a huge impact on me, I'd have to say Padosan. I was around 15 years old, I think, the first time I watched this. In fact, one of my classmates, he was a big fan of the film and he mentioned he used to perform on Meri Pyari Bindu, the song. So that's when sort of I watched it at his place. And yeah, I've been a fan ever since. I think I would have watched it at least 50 times since then. Padosan is something that I'd call a textbook breezy rom-com. Story is very simple. Sunil Dutt Saab plays a character who actually likes a girl played by Saira Banuji, and she happens to live just across his mommy's house. That's how the song, you know, मेरे सामने वाली खिड़की में एक चांद सा टुकड़ा रहता है, came about. Once Sunil Dutt Saab's friends, that whole mandali दोस्तों की, which is led by Kishore Kumar Saab, once they get to know कि यार भाई किसी लड़की को पसंद करता है, अब वो सेल्फलेसली लग जाते हैं कि इनकी मोहब्बत जो है उसको मुकम्मल करवाना है। सुनील दत्त साहब का जो कंपटीशन है इस पूरी पिक्चर के अंदर, वो है महमूद साहब, जो कि सायरा बानू जी के डांस इंस्ट्रक्टर हैं। और बेसिकली ये जो फिल्म है, ये एक ट्रैक इसका रोमांटिक चल रहा है, एक ब्रोमांस का चल रहा है, और एक जो नोक-झोंक म्यूजिकल महमूद साहब और किशोर कुमार और सुनील दत्त साहब के बीच में चल रही है। बेसिकली फिल्म का सार वो है। इस फिल्म में आई थिंक इट्स गॉट द बिगेस्ट कॉन्ग्रीगेशन ऑफ द ग्रेटेस्ट कॉमिक एक्टर्स ऑफ ऑल टाइम. You know, you've got Kishore Kumar Saab, you've got Mahmood, you've got Om Prakash, you've got Keshtu Mukherjee, Mukri. There is this one scene where Kishore Kumar Saab is trying to teach Sunil Dutt Saab's character how to sing. And I think that scene goes on for about, I think 7-8 मिनट कुछ चलता है, और उस 7-8 मिनट में आप इतना ज़्यादा हंस देते हो, you know, और उसके अंदर एक इतना नयापन है जो I think आज तक, you know, whenever I see it, I still, you know, laugh my guts out. The musical genius that R.D. Burman was, the kind of music that the film has, every song is a blockbuster. I personally believe Padosan is one of his least talked about albums. It has got such gems in it. You know, मेरे सामने वाली खिड़की में मेरी प्यारी बिंदु, एक चतुर नार करके सिंगार, कहना है आज तुझसे पहली बार, सांवरिया. You know, I can just go on and talk about the music of the film. Also, the humor quality is so good. Like, you can watch it n number of times and you still won't get bored. उस दुनिया की और उस दौर की फिल्मों की अच्छी बात ये थी कि वहाँ पे लाइफ बहुत सिंपल हुआ करती थी. You know, तो उस सिंप्लिसिटी में why I call it escapist is because आपको वो फिल्म देख के ये भी पता चलेगा कि यार एक वक्त था जब लाइफ ऐसी सिंपल भी हुआ करती थी. एंटरटेनमेंट क्या होनी चाहिए और एक कहानी के अंदर जो एक चलत है वो क्या होनी चाहिए, एंड व्हाट क्वालिटी ए फिल्म नीड्स टू हैव और द नैरेटिव नीड्स टू हैव in order to keep your audience engaged. When it comes to clean humor and the music, how music sort of enhances your storytelling, पड़ोसन is definitely one of my reference points. पड़ोसन के अंदर और actually उस दौर की सारी ज़्यादातर फिल्मों में जो family values और family angle होता था वो हमेशा बहुत strong होता था. तो बंटी बबली में भी मैंने यही करने की कोशिश करी थी. हमारे जो राकेश विम्मी का जो ट्रैक था उसके अंदर अब उनका एक बेटा भी है पप्पू. तो जो फैमिली वैल्यूज़ थी वो इंटैक्ट थी और दोनों माँ बाप का जो मेन फोकस था वो हमेशा अपने बच्चे की तरफ ही था. पड़ोसन के अंदर सुनील दत्त साहब के माँ बाप नहीं है लेकिन मामी और मामा है, लेकिन वो मामी मामा भी उन्हें माँ बाप जितना ही चाहते हैं, ऐसा दिखाया गया हमें. आज की डेट में भी अगर हिंदुस्तानियों के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से अगर बात करें तो अगर किसी भी दोस्त को पता चलता है कि भाई उनके ग्रुप के अंदर किसी को अगर कोई सर्टन महिला पसंद है तो सारे सेल्फलेसली तो लग ही जाते हैं. आई थिंक वो जो एक एस्पेक्ट है कि यार भाई की मोहब्बत मुकम्मल करानी है, वो मुझे लगता है 1968 तब और आज 2023 वो आज भी एक रेलेवेंट पॉइंट है.
And that's it. When the night has come and the land is dark and the moon is the only light we'll see. No, I won't be afraid. No, I won't be afraid. Just as long as you stand by me. So darling, darling, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Let's stand by each other in good times and bad. That's the mantra of modern times. I'm Atika Farooqui. We see each other in the next episode. Till then, goodbye.